Well, more trouble for disgraced former prince at least, UK Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Reports out of the UK say the British government may consider new legislation to remove him from the line of royal succession once the ongoing police investigation into his ties with Jeffrey Epstein's over. A source close to the report says any change to the line of succession would require consultation and agreement with other countries where King Charles, Andrew's brother, is head of state. To speak to us about this and how the family is taking the matter, how police are proceeding with investigations, reports out of the British media, public reaction to this news, as well as how politicians in the country are responding to all of this, is Jon Offei-Ansah, a London-based journalist, founder and publisher of Africa Briefing, a pan-African news magazine. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on Late Edition. Do we know how far the investigations are?
Well, the investigations are still ongoing. I mean, he was arrested yesterday and released on investigation, late last night. But the search, at his home is still ongoing. I mean, he lives in a very, very huge house, about 30-room house, and the police are conducting meticulous search of the house, to get further information.
Now, we also understand police are questioning his former bodyguards. Will they be able to get more evidence from them, some important input?
Well, with the bodyguard, it's something like what I would say a fishing trip, because look, the bodyguards, the ex-bodyguard might not necessarily know that certain things he did, or they saw him do, or they heard him say, or whatever, might contravene the law. But in the course of interrogating, questioning them, interviewing them, they might come up with something that might be of interest to the police.
I find it interesting that his title of Prince, was stripped from him fairly recently. Do you think the royal family had a heads up?
I wouldn't say they had a heads up. I mean, when you say they had a heads up, do you mean a heads up about his arrest yesterday, or what?
Yes, about his arrest. Because they've had a long time to strip him of that title.
From what I gather, they did not have any heads up, right? But then it didn't come as a surprise to many, to almost, everybody here wasn't surprised that he was arrested, because when the Epstein files were released and it was found that he had given some information, some classified or privileged information to Epstein during his time as a British trade ambassador. I mean, the writing was on the wall that the police might get involved. He had maybe revealed maybe some sensitive state information to somebody who wasn't authorized, to get those information. So the writing was on the wall that definitely the police might involve. So it did not come as a surprise to. I'm not sure it came as a surprise to the family. And again, I mean, the King Charles actually went, a step further, issued a statement saying effectively that, look, he will let the law take its course. Yeah.
We also understand that the British government may be considering new legislation to remove Andrew from the line of royal succession once the police investigations into Andrew's ties with Jeffrey Epstein are over.
Yeah, it was announced today that the government, is considering, because he's eighth in line to the throne. There's no possibility whatsoever that he could become king. I mean, look, he's eighth in line, but then, the government is not trying to take any chances. And again, maybe as a further, maybe punishment, they are trying to introduce legislation, to remove that right, that birthright, to take it away from him.
I would like to ask you just one last question. Do you think that finally, finally the chickens have come home to roost for Andrew.
Yes, and it's sad. I mean, personally, I cast my mind back. I can picture it vividly when he returned from Falklands. In the in the 80s. As a hero, he was a prince and a Navy helicopter. He flew so many sorties during the war, and I remember him docking, getting off the ship. I think Portsmouth. With a rose in his mouth. Rushing to meet his new wife, Fergie. And he was adored. He was a handsome, dashing young prince and a soldier, a war hero. The way the guy was celebrated. So for him to fall, such monumental fall from grace, it saddens me, and it's a salutary lesson, in life that look, no condition is permanent, and you must always watch every step you take, no matter your station in life.
Thank you so much for chatting to us this evening. Jon Offei-Ansah, London-based journalist, founder and publisher of Africa Briefing, a Pan-African news magazine.